comedy used to be about making people laugh, but in 2025, it's more like navigating a minefield of cancellation. Forget hecklers. Today's comedians have to face allegations, controversies, and decades-old tweets resurfacing just to haunt them. But maybe it's really not about the jokes. After all, the material that would have killed in 1991 now seems like a one-way ticket to cancellation. Recently, the biggest story gripping comedy fans is a literal waterfall of accusations against comedian Joe Gatto. The accusations include a range of incredibly gross behavior, from sexual assault to grooming underage girls and workplace harassment. Gatto became something of a household name for his founding role on hidden camera show Impractical Jokers. He built a decades-long reputation as an audacious prankster before suddenly leaving in 2021, citing issues in his personal life. More on that in a minute. But the public's reaction to this series of deeply disturbing stories told by women who have these experiences with Gatto is really what's getting to me. Because for every person that's alarmed and heartbroken that their favorite comedian is actually a very shitty dude, there's someone blaming his alleged victims for his behavior. The mental acrobatics rival Simone Biles' floor routine, but is cancel culture really the villain here, or is there more to the story? Everything started in late March when TikTok user Juicy B posted a video in which she alleged the now 48-year-old comedian sexually assaulted her at a Milwaukee hotel in September of 2023. She was only 19 years old. By her account, she met the beloved comedian completely by chance, and he invited her to a stand-up show, even leaving a free meet and greet ticket for her at the box office. She has since deleted that video, but at the time she said she really didn't want to get into all of the details of what took place, but she also didn't want any girl to feel the way that she had been made to feel, which just might be the most depressingly relatable thing I've heard this entire calendar year, and that's really saying a lot. Later on, Juicy B posted screenshots of DMs allegedly from Joe Gatto that appear to corroborate her account, adding that at first she was really thrilled to hear from a famous comedian that she loved, but that soon after his text started getting weird. He appears to have put the messages into vanish mode, which is going to be a trend. Then he sent her instructions on how to get where he was staying by using a sort of private backdoor elevator. She also posted a photo of a bruise that Gatto allegedly inflicted on her with his teeth. She said she had been wanting to talk about this and tell people about it for a really long time, but that it was difficult to do with a comedian this big. Listen, I watched Impractical Jokers for years, but calling him a big comedian, that's pretty generous. She also admitted to not having a clear goal or motive in terms of her allegations other than trying to spread awareness. The next day, another woman came forward who claims to have worked on the set of Impractical Jokers. She added further allegations that Gatto had sexually harassed her at work. She told People magazine that when she was 15, she met Gatto at one of his shows, and as soon as she turned 18, he became flirtatious because, and I hate to be the one to tell you, we live in a truly despicable world, my friends. Apparently, Gatto employed her on Impractical Jokers right after she graduated college, but even before her first day on the job, a previous employee warned her that Joe Gatto could be flirty and handsy and make a lot of really inappropriate jokes. Unfortunately, the warning ended up being very prophetic. This would become part of a pattern of emotional manipulation that she would go on to experience over the next 2 years while working for him. The woman claims Gatto inappropriately grabbed her, invited her back to his room, asked her to cuddle, and often asked for back massages. Seriously, why do these guys always ask for massages? Can a famous comedian not afford a chiropractor these days? The woman also says that Gatto claimed he and his wife were in an open relationship, which the woman now thinks is untrue. So classic. He would apparently DM her to let her know she was hot and would get incredibly possessive and jealous when she posted photos of her and her boyfriend on social media. She also claims that after shutting down his attempts at flirtation, Gatto would become noticeably more rude, which made her feel that she had to pacify him just to stay employed. Because apparently, preventing yourself from being sexually harassed in the workplace is another full-time job of its own. During one work trip, he grabbed her upper thigh in a hotel elevator, and when she rejected his advances, he admitted that he knew he was making her uncomfortable. Of course, perverts and predators like that don't care. In fact, they probably prefer it. Though he claims to be completely sober, sober, Gatto encouraged and even pressured some employees to come back to his room to drink. He also joked about bringing young women back to his apartment through a freight elevator, which backs up the text messages shown in the initial allegation. A couple days later, even more allegations dropped, because of course they fucking did. A young TikTok user and her girlfriend, who recently graduated high school, talked about their own experience with Joe in 2024, which, surprise, surprise, also involved him giving them tickets to his show. I'll give this guy one thing. He has his Predator playbook memorized. Before the show, he messaged them specifically asking them to wear leggings, and after the performance, he brought them to a backstage room where he asked to touch them and asked them to kiss for him. Of course he did. He also exhibited other behavior that seems to constitute grooming, especially given their age. He gave one of these girls a $100 bill and offered to buy a hotel room right next to his. While at the hotel, he again put his messages in vanish mode and repeatedly asked them to come back to his room through the less conspicuous backdoor entrance. I don't know if he means that literally or as a euphemism, and I hope I never know. After that night, he told the girls, "Now you owe me," thus ascending to the ranks of Joker-level psychopathy. The young women described being so thrilled to talk to their favorite celebrity that they ignored the warning signs, especially considering the fact that they're both gay and not attracted to men. It wasn't until things escalated to him sexually propositioning them that they realized what his true intentions were. Another woman has uploaded a since-deleted video detailing similar experiences. Gatto DMing her, asking her to meet him backstage, being very touchy, telling her to remove her clothes. The stories shared by these very young women, some of whom were underage at the time they claimed to have met Gatto, share a lot of similar details, like Gatto applying all of them with free tickets to his shows. This story has been developing super fast as all of these allegations continue to emerge, so by the time this video comes out, there'll probably be even more. After the first accusation came out, Gatto issued a statement denying the assaults, but admitting that he used poor judgment and as a result, violated the trust of the people he loves most. That was already sketchy as hell, before he added another classic party line. "Anyone who knows me at all knows full well that I wouldn't assault anyone. Working on myself is an ongoing process, and I am now going to take some time away from the public eye to focus my energies where I need to. Maybe focus on sending fewer text messages." A few days later, Gatto canceled all upcoming tour dates and checked into an inpatient facility. The allegations on their own are concerning, but so is the way that people are bending over backwards to defend this C-list celebrity and victim blame every single woman that's come forward. People in the comment sections are taking over these videos, leaving comments like, "What did she expect when she agreed to go to his room? They instigated it, they were trying to bait him, they stalked him and took their clothes off, so it's not sexual assault." And defending Joe Gatto, saying things like he's innocent and she just wants attention. Yeah, apparently none of these people would have been thrilled had their favorite celebrity or comedian slid into the DMs of their teenage self. One of the more depressing consistencies across all of these stories is the way pretty much every woman admitted that they only put up with Gatto's inappropriate comments because they were so flattered that someone famous was paying attention to them. So naturally, that made them feel really special. Since the dawn of the Me Too movement, it's become abundantly clear that famous people, especially famous men, regularly exploit the power dynamic between them and their fans. I really wish that this victim blaming was a lot less predictable, but sadly, it's more of an expectation for any woman who accuses a man, especially a celebrity, of any manner of inappropriate behavior. Caveat, this is purely speculative, but it feels almost impossible to ignore what many people have noted. These accusations, especially those of workplace harassment, recontextualize Gatto's abrupt exit from Impractical Jokers in 2021. At the time, he attributed his exit to needing more time with his children during a separation from his wife. Can't imagine why they separated. But soon after, he embarked on a huge comedy tour, took on other professional opportunities, and rarely appeared to actually spend time with his family. Some people speculate that his exit was an attempt to protect the show amidst obvious signs that Gatto was behaving like a creep. I'm also very aware that these are allegations, but when multiple women women claim to have the same bad experience with the same famous man, it speaks to a certain pattern of behavior that none of us should ignore. But what if these women are actually lying? What if they're accusing him just for clout? I really don't know how to say this nicely, so I guess I won't. Who the fuck among us would name Joe built like a baguette Gatto for clout? I'll let you pretend for a second that could be true, but here's the reality. 1 in 5 women will experience sexual assault in their lifetime, and most, about 63%, don't report it to police. If there's any question why 63% of women don't report assault, run back through this video a few more times. Meanwhile, those false reports, the one people love to attribute to clout chasing, those only occur in 2 to 10% of cases. Dismissing victims or blaming them for what they experienced is incredibly dangerous, and it hands predators a permission slip to keep doing their thing. And that's not a message I'm willing to co-sign. At the end of the day, I'm always going to choose the side of someone who might need support rather than defend someone who may or may not be guilty of abusing their power. Besides, celebrities don't need us fighting their battles for them. It's embarrassing, and they have PR teams for that. If you enjoyed my coverage on this case, give the video a thumbs up and stick around for more stories like this. I could play devil's advocate, but why would I want to play for that team?